Yo, what's going on, everybody? Keep them almost in full color, and today we are going over Star Ocean: The Divine Force. We play this on the PS5, and before we go any further, I'd say this is a very solid JRPG. I would definitely recommend this to all newcomers to this type of genre. It is a easily digestible game, and the systems are robust. However, they're easy for anyone to get into, and there's a wide variety of gameplay archetypes and builds that you can do that again are not daunting on the player, allowing for a lot of flexibility and a lot of good-hearted fun to be had with this title. Now, there were some missteps with this game that I'll detail later on, but anyone looking to come into the Star Ocean series, as this is entry number 6 in this series, you do not need the other titles to jump into this. You can just jump into this one by itself. However, if you do have knowledge of the other games, it does help you understand the overarching story, and none of the events from the other games play a big part into this game, nor the story elements of this game. They all exist here, and it's kind of just its own adventure. For those who are maybe familiar with the E series, think of it like that, where it's kind of the adventures of these individuals, and each title is its own adventure. And so that some other adventures may be referenced, they're only there just as reference points, nothing more, nothing less. Starting with the story, it is a good story. It's a solid story. For those, I'll give a slight spoiler. If no one has played a Star Ocean game, essentially you're someone from outer space, from an advanced civilization, and you come into contact with a not as advanced civilization. In every Star Ocean, except for The Last Hope, I believe, the pact had not been made by all space explorers or people who are from space that you do not involve yourself with the underdeveloped civilization, as if you do involve yourself and cause that civilization to advance in ways that were not natural, it will cause an unnatural disturbance within that planet's life cycle, thus putting them at risk for self-destruction. So with that being said, the story revolves around that point. How much can you or can't you involve yourself in events with the planet? And that it pretty much blossoms from there. That's pretty much every Star Ocean, with the exception of The Last Hope. Moving on from there, visually, the game is in this mid-tier, I will call it. I would say it's not bad, and it's not great. It kind of falls in this acceptable range, this good range, where it's fine, but you do feel like there could be some advancements made on that front. As this is a 6th entry, you would think, hey, you know, a little bit more money would be put into this game production-wise. And although I do see some spots where that money went to and what they really invested in, visually, I do wish it was a little bit more appealing, or a jump was made, much like with the Tales series. As we saw, the Tales series have a massive increase in visual fidelity with Tales of Arise. For anyone who has a big issue with mouth movement and audio, you should definitely set it to Japanese voices and the English subtitles. But, you know, if you hate having to read subs, well, I guess you're just screwed. I don't know what to give you on that front, but lips do not always match. But this is a Japanese RPG, so it should be expected. Now, to get into the bulk of things, the gameplay. Star Ocean gameplay has always been of that. It's not a turn-based battle system. You're free roaming, battling. And this has been expounded upon greatly with the abilities to dodge, roll, and now you have an item called a Duma, and your Duma allows you to do a lot of high-flying, high-action things, from putting a shield around yourself to absorb projectile attacks or melee attacks, to using that Duma to make a really fast, hard cut to get in your opponent's blind side, and then to exploit them by getting a damage buff by doing a back attack. All in all, this gameplay combat system, it's high pace, it's high action, it's a lot of stuff going on. I originally did not like the idea of what they have is called a chain combo, and essentially you will set skills to the square, circle, and triangle buttons, and essentially you'll make it so if you tap square 3 times, it will pull off a combo that you preset. So you have a bunch of skills, and they cost a certain amount of bar, so you'll figure out how you want those skills to look and map out. And at first I didn't like it, but then once I started to get into it, I was like, okay, I actually really like this. You can really play around. It's not very cookie cutter. I like it for, you know, just people coming into it. You don't have to pull off any high impact combos by way of, you know, L1 triangle, square, nothing of that sort. but at the same time, it does have a complexity to it to where you can do square, square, but then you'll notice you don't have enough bar to perform your next move, so you can go right into your triangle moves. And it just lets you kind of play around. What do I want to use? There's also press and hold. So if you want to press and hold square, that could be something else entirely as well. Just really making for you to really mix and match and figure out how you want to do things. You also have passive abilities, and those can be equipped to your character equip screen. You can only do 3 at a time, so you want to make sure that you're choosing 3 that really suit your play style. And where do you get these combo moves, and where do you get these passive abilities from? Well, your skill tree. The skill tree is quite extensive, and if you played a JRPG, you've seen something like this, but they're just nodes on a board. If you have enough skill points, then you can unlock that node. You need to unlock the adjacent node before you can unlock another node. And leveling is actually one of the not so bad things in this game, and there are many items that will help you get XP buffs throughout the game. You will be getting SP to fill out this board. It's not going to feel bad at all. Another reason why I feel like this is a great entry JRPG. But when you go through this board, you'll get your combo skills, you'll get your passive skills as well, which make this really dope. Also, your combo moves that you unlock can be further upgraded with SP. So that same SP that you can use in this board, you can go, and if you have a combo move that you like a really lot, you can then upgrade it, and upgrading it will cause it to deal more damage, and there may be some other effects. I'll leave that for you all to figure out, but they're quite cool if you're able to upgrade all of them and get enough SP to do such a thing. As with All Star Oceans, we have an item creation ability. All Star Oceans have this where you can create items, and most characters have talents, and these talents will pretty much let you know what affinity that character has for a certain item creation. Ray is a really good smith. You have Midas, who's a good author. You have Elena, who's really good at engineering. Elena's pretty much good at everything, really. And this is a part of the game that really opens things up, because not only can you use that SP to level up your combat skills, to level up your combat tree and get those passive buffs, but you also can use that to level up your item creation. Item creation definitely is a major boon late game, and you can also level that through creating items. So if the character is actively creating items, they do garner XP from that, so they will level up that skill that way. You don't have to use your SP points for that, but the later on levels, it definitely will take some time. I kind of recommend that you use the SP for that in the event that you're looking to create. And one of the things that's really cool if you're looking at your skill tree is there's a lot of skills that really go towards item usage. And not only that, but there are armors that have buffs for item usage. They have characters who kind of seem like they're more so, they're really built for that type of thing. So I personally believe that it's very viable to make an item utilizing build. I am a more up in your face type of guy, so I did not do an item throwing build, but I could definitely see where that might be a dope build if you're able to, you know, create the right items, your bombs and things of that nature, and really abuse those. Maybe I'll check it out on my next run through. We'll see. So traversal in this game is something that I saw that they definitely did a really good job at making it feel easy to get around. You have the Duma that I spoke to earlier that had its buffs and its effects. Not only does it have those effects on you, but it also can propel you. It can, you know, shoot you in the sky. You could shoot laterally and kind of like glide along the ground. You can do all sorts of stuff with this Duma by way of traversal. You also can sprint on the field as well. This just makes the game feel super like I can move. And with RPGs, sometimes when you have to go from one place to another place and all that, a dash or just this mechanic really helps the player just feel like, God, I can eliminate so much time spent by not having to move at the standard pace, and I don't have to get a skill. Like, I don't have to play the game X amount of hours to unlock this skill to do such a thing. They give it to you right off the rip, and you can utilize that. You do unlock fast travel quite early in the game, but in the meantime, between time until you get it, they give you that Duma, and you can literally just shoot around the map. And by shooting around the map, you end up finding a lot of cool things and whatnot. And that also makes you feel really good about going off the beaten path. A lot of times when you go off the beaten path and you have to run back another way and run this way and run that way, it can become a bit exhausting and make you not want to go run over there because you know you got to run right back and spend more time. With that Duma, you could be over there in and out really easy. I love what they did with that. The game targets 60 frames per second, and for the most part, it upheld that, I believe. At least it felt like that for me. I really didn't feel like it dropped frames a whole lot. There were times it did, and mostly I noticed that using the Duma when I was doing some open world exploration. Normally this would happen if I made contact where something had like a weird crevice. So like if I were to go hit this crevice, my character would kind of like stutter in there and the frames would kind of drop. Or boxes, and if the box had like a gap in between it and I happened to hit that gap, it would cause this stutter frame start to happen. It would normally level out and equal itself out. Again, it happened here and there, but nothing that made me feel like it was horrible, but it was noticeable. And the only other thing that I really felt like was a slight bit of a misstep was the side quest system. You do get side quests, but they're just super vague. And maybe I've just been spoon-fed with side quests lately where they tell you what they want, pretty much spell it out for you, and you know, you kind of go and you complete that side quest. Some of them do give you a hint, but one of them, it's like you had to eat a certain item to cause this enemy to spawn. And also, but when I get side quests, I do like just kind of click through it. I don't really care about listening to their plight. I just click through it and I'm done with it. So it could be a user error, I'm not sure, but I did dislike how when I got to the side quests and I was looking through my side quests, it was kind of hard to figure out what they wanted exactly, as the side quests were pretty vague. There is a mini game in Star Ocean which is known as ASOA, and this mini game is very easy. One of the easiest mini games I think I've ever played in a JRPG, which number one is fantastic, but number two, they give out some pretty good accessories if you play people in this game, which make things really dope. Again, you don't necessarily have to use the item creation system to be successful in this game. You could literally just go fight, make money, and spend that money at a shop to get your better weapons and gear. Or you could create the items as well. Or, I mean, by playing this ASOA game and just doing some world traveling and looking through the world for treasure chests and whatnot, you'll end up coming upon these things. So there are definitely avenues for you as a player to figure out, you know, how it is that you want to traverse the world and figure out how you're going to get better loot and whatnot. But the ASOA game is definitely one I would highly encourage people to check out and try. And another thing I like about this ASOA game, I'm really hoping that maybe they're at a point now where they may be thinking about remaking Star Oceans 1 and 2, as these ASOA character pieces are characters from the older Star Ocean games. So I thought that was a neat touch, and it was nice to see some of these characters. It was nice to see the characters at least from 1, 2, and 3 kind of redone for the right now, how things look today. Quick fun fact for everybody, Star Ocean changes the hair color of every main character with every entry. Started with blue, then went blonde, and began to alternate back and forth. Now, Star Ocean 2 actually breaks this trend in a little bit because you can actually choose from 2 different main characters who are both blonde and blue-haired. However, Claude, the blonde-haired character, is said to be the true main character of that title. And I am hoping with the ability to choose your main character with this game, whether it be Ray, the blonde-haired individual, or Leticia, the blue-haired character, that this is a hint that Star Ocean 2 might be on the docket to get remade. So that being said, my first run through took me about 38 hours to beat this game. I didn't do everything, didn't 100% it, but it was about 38 hours. And that's not terrible at all. But if Star Ocean 1 were to be remade, I know that game is on the shorter side. I think I beat that in like 18 hours. It's not that long at all. So if Star Ocean 1 were to be remade, I don't know. I don't want like some just extra stuff added into it if possible. But that is still my hope, is that Star Ocean 1 and 2 get remade. But I'm hoping 1 comes first to maybe iron out any more kinks that get found. I love the fact that there were 60 frames and the game looks pretty good. But all I'm really looking for at the end of the day is a revamping of the side quest system and a little bit of an uptick in the visual fidelity. I think they've hit all the boxes that make me want to say, I think you're at a good point now where you can redo 1 or 2. I mean, but if they do 2, they really have to come with it, as that is the most beloved in this series. So I'm really looking forward to see what they do with this. I'm hoping that this game sells pretty well. Really, really good JRPG. Again, if anyone who's looking for an entry-level JRPG, this is definitely one to check out. I like it for the right now, but hey, if you want to wait until it gets marked down, that's perfectly okay. I can totally understand someone not wanting to pay, you know, $70 for a game that's going to take them quite some time to beat. But with that being said, stay tuned. I got that Bayonetta 3 review coming. Just cooking it up a little bit, you know. Will it be a sexy version or will it be standard? I don't know, we'll find out. But all right, y'all, thanks for tuning into this one, and as usual, peace, be easy, be blessed.